Chapter 38-48. Previously, Emperor of Penalty had thought of taking Empress Flame hostage. It was just that he was seriously injured back then, and the laws of heaven and earth at the 6th and 5th planes were not stable. Also, he didn't have the time to plan, and he was afraid that he would be killed by Luli. Therefore, he didn't do it. Now, Emperor of Punisher and Luli each had their own agenda. Luli said he would wait for Empress Flame. Emperor of Punisher would cherish such a good chance. Luli was still too young and inexperienced. He didn't have a clear understanding of the methods of the main gods. It was a piece of cake for Emperor of Punisher to build a fake body. He didn't have to control the collapse of the fake body. He could even maintain it. The fake body was no different from the real one. Luli was confused. Empress Flame didn't know what was going on since she had just arrived. What was more, Empress Flame was too wounded. Emperor of Punisher suddenly used his Dominator's energy. How could she survive? Luli pulled a long face and regretted. He didn't know that Emperor of Punisher's fake body was so real that Luli didn't even feel it. Empress Flame was captured and the Flame Empress universe was under his control. Emperor of Punisher controlled the lives of Empress Flame, Little White, She and so many others. Luli didn't care about the chaotic star region or the endless ruins. But how could he ignore the lives of Empress Flame, Little White, She and so many others? Luli took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and forced himself to calm down. The situation had come to the worst. One wrong move and he, Lu family, Empress Flame and Little White would all die. Many ideas flashed across his mind as he tried to find a way out. But Emperor of Punisher did not give Luli time. After a laugh, Emperor of Punisher looked at Luli coldly and said, "Luli, you have two choices. Either you commit suicide, or I will kill Empress Yen and destroy the Empress Yan's universe. I will kill all the living beings in the Empress Yan's universe and your Lu family." What? There were many scouts around. Hearing Emperor of Punisher's shout, they were in an uproar. Many scouts had guessed Emperor of Punisher's identity. He must be a legendary almighty immortal if he could smash a universe. They didn't expect that an almighty immortal would take hostages. Their impression of almighty immortals was completely changed. Luli pulled a long face. He said nothing. None of them were good. If he died, would the Emperor of Penalty really let go of Empress Flame, Little Bai, Zishi and the Lu family? Luli didn't know what kind of person the Emperor of Punisher was before, but he did now. He was a devil who would do anything to achieve his goal, a devil who was utterly devoid of conscience. Luli said nothing, but Emperor of Execution did not give him any chance to stall. Emperor of Execution bellowed, "Luli, I will give you an hour. After an hour, if you do not commit suicide, I will kill you. I will kill the Flame Empress and keep my word." After saying this, the Punisher Emperor took the initiative to fly back several hundred kilometers and stand on a huge rock. Empress Flame was in Luli's hand. She was badly injured, but she was not dead. Her soul was in the almighty destiny. All of a sudden, she said, "Luli, I will cut off the connection with the Empress Flame universe and send it to the Shumi universe." Then, my chief god's life providence exploded, and you took the opportunity to kill Xing Di. Luli was intrigued. Empress of Flame's idea was perfect. The main point was to send the Empress of Flame's universe into the Shumi universe. In this way, the Empress of Flame's universe could be saved, Little White, Shi and the Lu family could be saved. No. But in this case, Empress of Flame would have to sacrifice herself. She had given Luli a new lease on life. How could Luli let her die? Ha ha! Emperor of Execution suddenly laughed. The Dominator's energy glowed in his hand and seeped into Empress of Flame's body. Using the Dominator's energy, Emperor of Execution sealed Empress of Flame's almighty destiny. He also sealed the Empress of Flame's universe. Emperor of Execution sneered, "Empress of Flame, you don't have to sneak around. I know what you want to do. You want to blow yourself up, right? You don't have the chance. Luli turned pale again. Just a moment ago, he was wondering if he should carry out Empress of Flame's plan. But Emperor of Execution had cut off this option in advance. Luli had nowhere else to go. His eyes flickered and his face turned pale. Time moved on. More and more scouts came. They were all low-level ones and they were not afraid of death. How could they run away when an almighty god wanted to kill them? Instead of hiding, they might as well come out in the open. If they could gather some useful information, they could reduce the losses of their races. By then, their deaths would be worthwhile. The scouts kept sending messages to each other. 4 warriors of the Chaotic Star region. Luli enjoyed a high prestige, and he was quite amiable. Even though the Chaotic Star region had been implicated by Luli on several occasions, they still had feelings for Luli and a sense of identity. On the other hand, they viewed Emperor of Execution with hostility. To them, Emperor of Execution was a demon. He had destroyed so many universes and killed so many lives. Naturally, they wanted Luli to win. Was Luli going to lose? Was he going to be hounded to death? Luli closed his eyes and said nothing. Time moved on. Luli looked more and more awful. Even though there were tens of thousands of scouts around, none of them dared to make a sound. They were waiting for Luli's decision. An hour later, Luli opened his eyes. He said, "I can kill myself. But how can you guarantee that after I die, you will let Empress of Flame, Little White, Zishi, and my family go? Don't say those empty words and don't make any vows. Those are meaningless. If I cannot guarantee that they can live, then why should I kill myself? I might as well avenge them." "I cannot guarantee that," Emperor of Execution said coldly. "I can only guarantee it with my integrity. I have worked my way up from the bottom and I have done many unforgivable things. But basically, my words are law. I have been doing evil openly. I don't have to hide it. When you die, Empress of Flame and the others will pose no threat to me. I can send them to the 7th heaven and destroy the entrance. In this way, I cannot go in and they cannot come out. This is the only guarantee I can give you. You don't have a choice. Either you die or they die. Give me a choice." Luli was hesitant. After a pause, he said, "Go to the entrance of the Chaotic Star region. Throw Empress of Flame out and block the exit. I will blow myself up." Emperor of Execution thought about it. After a while, he nodded and said, "Deal." Whoosh. Emperor of Execution took Empress of Flame and flew toward the entrance of the Chaotic Star region. Luli followed them and so did the scouts. Of course, they could only follow from a distance. Luli and Emperor of Execution were not far away from the entrance. In a moment they arrived. Emperor of Execution said, "Stay there and don't move. I will keep my psychic power on you. Once I sense something wrong with you, I cannot guarantee Empress of Flame's safety." "Okay." Luli stood still at the entrance. Emperor of Execution arrived at the exit and flew out quickly. Then, he threw Empress of Flame out for thousands of miles. Empress of Flame's almighty fate was still sealed. She could not go far even if she wanted to, and she was badly injured. Emperor of Execution was blocking the entrance. If Luli tried to protect Empress of Flame without killing himself, Luli would not be as fast as Emperor of Execution. Emperor of Execution could catch up with Empress of Flame and kill her first. Now, Emperor of Execution used psychic power to check. Luli was helpless. He shouted, "Emperor of Execution, I hope you will keep your promise. Otherwise, I will haunt you even in death." Boom! All of a sudden, Luli's body glowed. Surges of horrifying energy burst out from his body. The scouts were scared out of their wits. All of a sudden, a glare burst out as if the sun had exploded. Luli's body was torn apart and turned into dust. Chapter 3849. Boom! A massive explosion rang out, so loud that even the martial artists who were millions of miles away felt their eardrums bleed. A massive black hole appeared in the space over there, and at least 100,000 miles of space collapsed. A shock wave spread out in a circular shape, turning all the void and rocks within hundreds of thousands of miles into dust. Did he really do that? The executioner blinked his eyes in astonishment. He looked around in confusion and then used psychic power to check again. Finally, he closed his eyes to sense. After the time for more than a dozen breaths, he was overjoyed. When he attacked Lu Li, some of the evil spirit went into Lu Li's body. At the same time, there was a trace of his unique mark in that energy. Using the mark, he could track Lu Li's soul. Just like Empress Flame did, she left a mark in Lu Li's soul that could track Lu Li's location. Now, he could not sense Lu Li's soul or the mark he left behind. There could only be one explanation: Lu Li's soul was gone. But on second thought, only the explosion of energy from the god of destruction could have such a horrifying effect. How could Lu Li's soul survive such a horrifying explosion? Ha 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 ha! Emperor of Punishment laughed wildly. He just wanted to threaten Lu Li. He thought Lu Li would not be so stupid. Who would have thought that it would actually succeed? As far as he could tell, 99 out of 100 people would not commit suicide. He had run into the only one. Lu Li, you are so silly. Outside the chaotic star region, Empress Flame did not run away. Instead, she grew another head. She sensed the horrifying explosion and the disappearance of Lu Li's soul. Her eyes dimmed down. She was like a flower that was about to wither. She was eclipsed. She knew the Punishment Emperor too well. How could a heinous devil like the Punishment Emperor keep his word? Was this a joke? Lu Li was a smart man. How could he commit suicide after being tricked? Alas, never mind. Empress Flame sighed. She didn't want to fight anymore. Fighting was pointless. After fighting for so many years, she was also tired. She flew toward the chaotic star region, trying to have one last talk with Emperor of Punishment to see if she could save the Empress Flame universe. Whoosh! The space inside gradually calmed down, but the collapsed space had yet to recover. The executioner couldn't wait any longer. Using his sovereign's god force to protect his body, Huang Xiaolong flew towards the center of the collapsing space. He wanted to make one last confirmation. What if Lu Li had escaped and gone into hiding? What if he was still alive? Empress Flame flew in. Looking at the collapsed space in front of her, tears rolled down her cheeks. Lu Li was so stupid. After being tricked by the Qing Emperor, he actually foolishly committed suicide? Stupid? All of a sudden, Empress Flame frowned. She didn't think Lu Li was that stupid. If he was, how could he have made it this far? Did Lu Li really have a backup plan? Hee hee. Soon, Empress Flame forced a smile. She was overthinking. It was such a horrifying explosion. Even if Lu Li had something up his sleeves, he would have been blown into pieces and his soul destroyed. Xiao! The executioner walked around the collapsed space. He noticed the Flame Empress but did not pay much attention to her. Empress Flame was badly wounded. She had less than 10% of her abilities. Not even a sneak attack from Empress Flame could kill her. After several rounds of searching, the executioner was relieved. Lu Li must have died. There was no trace of his existence. Buzzing, right at that moment, space suddenly trembled. Then, a hand reached out from the void and reached for the executioner's neck. The hand was glowing in white. It was the sovereign's god force. The hand was so close that the executioner could not react in time. His neck was grabbed. Boom! Another hand came out from the void. It swung its fist, glowing with the sovereign's god force, and smashed at the executioner's abdomen. The owner of the hand came out from the void as well. The executioner thought he had seen a ghost in broad daylight. He could not help but shout, How is this possible? Empress Flame was alarmed. She looked over and was filled with shock and disbelief. She saw Lu Li coming out from the void, grabbing the executioner's neck with one hand and punching at the executioner's abdomen with the other. Boom! The executioner was wearing the armor of the Sovereign's God Force, but it was shattered by the punch. The Sovereign's God Force surged in to attack the executioner's almighty destiny. "Go to hell," the executioner bellowed. He swung his fists and used the Sovereign's God Force to smash at Lu Li's head. But Lu Li did not care. He kept punching at the almighty destiny in the executioner's abdomen. Boom! Boom! With two noises, Lu Li's head was crushed and so was the executioner's abdomen. The almighty destiny was hit by Lu Li's fist. Cracks spread out like a spider web. The executioner's chi and energy were weakened. Blood gushed out from his mouth. Lu Li's head was crushed, but it was nothing for Lu Li. His soul had entered his body. The headless body glowed. Lu Li punched at the executioner's almighty destiny again. The executioner was terrified. He shouted, "Lu Li, stop! I surrender. I admit defeat. Anything is negotiable as long as you don't kill me." Before he could finish his words, Lu Li had punched again. The executioner was so badly injured that he could not protect his body anymore. He had mobilized all his energy to protect the almighty destiny. His body was crushed by Lu Li's punch and the almighty destiny was smashed away as well. There were more cracks on it. Buzzing, a head grew out from Lu Li's body. Lu Li dashed over. He mobilized a large amount of energy and smashed at the almighty fate of Emperor of Punisher. No! Boom! A horrified roar came from within the Chief God Life Providence. Following that, the Chief God Life Providence shattered into pieces. Once again, the violent energy caused the space to collapse. Shockwaves spread out. Dark clouds came in from the void. Thunderbolts were wreaking havoc. Rain, hail, and snowflakes were falling. Once again, the heavens were shedding tears. The executioner was dead. The scouts and warriors were dumbfounded as they looked at the storm, hail, and snowflakes falling down. The turn of events was so dramatic that they could not accept it or understand it. Didn't Lu Li blow himself up? How could he come back to life? How could Lu Li survive such a horrifying explosion? Fake death? Empress Flame could not figure it out either. She was confused. It was such a horrifying explosion, and Lu Li's soul was gone. How could Lu Li come back to life when she couldn't even sense it? Wait, Empress Flame thought of something. Lu Li's soul had disappeared once before. If he could do it once, he could do it again. She thought about it but still could not figure it out. Where did Lu Li go? Why couldn't she sense it? Had Lu Li gone to another world? Whoosh! Lu Li flew over and stood in front of Empress Flame. They looked at each other for a moment and Lu Li said with a smile, "Lord, we won." Won? Empress Flame was slightly startled. Her lips curled up into a slight smile. Then, the smile widened until her face was filled with a brilliant smile. It was like a mountain full of blooming flowers, beautiful beyond compare. Her whole body relaxed at this moment and she murmured, "Won? We won? We won." Chapter 3850. Lu Li, I don't think you are going to build a universe, but a world. A world that is exactly the same as this big world. In a pavilion at the back mountain of the Asmodean city, Flame Empress sat with her legs crossed. Lu Li was sitting across from them. Zishi was serving them tea, and Little White was eating some mystical fruit. Flame Empress said after a pause, "After hundreds of thousands or millions of years, that world of yours may evolve into a brand new world. The most powerful force in a world should be the Dominator's energy. That is the real force of the world. Emperor of Punishment is right. Our world's force is actually the force of a universe, different from the Dominator's energy." Lu Li was deep in thought. There were many things he didn't understand. Now, Flame Empress analysis gave him some clues. In the last fight, he did fake his death. Because he had the Dominator's energy, as long as his soul was still there, He could build a new body at any time. His original fleshly body had self-destructed, and his soul had entered the world inside of him. Using the newly born power of the Sovereign Lord, he had formed a new fleshly body. The cicada shed its carapace and came back to life. Emperor of Punishment used the fake body to confuse Luli and subdue Flame Empress. Luli faked his death to confuse Emperor of Punishment and killed him in a surprise attack. He wasn't that easy to fool. If he was that stupid, he would have died many times over. He was able to get to where he was today. With Emperor of Punishment's death, the world was at peace. All the overgods on Emperor of Punishment's side were dead. The remaining overgods could be killed at any time. Now there were only 3 overgods left: Flame Empress, Zishi, and Little White. Luli didn't count because he didn't have the fate of an overgod. He was not an overgod. The reason why he could be so strong was that he had a large amount of Dominator's energy. Flame Empress, according to what you said and what Emperor of Punishment said, if 1,000,000 years from now my world can really evolve into a great world, giving birth to countless realms and countless living beings, I will be able to create a great world. Wouldn't I be the creator of the universe? If all this is true, then Emperor of Punishment's deduction makes sense. Maybe this world and the world in my body are just a drop in the ocean. There are more worlds out there? Luli asked. Both Flame Empress Zishi and Little White said nothing. Emperor of Punisher's words were just speculation. Once the world in Luli's body grew into a great world, this speculation would be verified. There could be countless worlds out there, countless creatures, countless perfect warriors, countless almighty immortals, and even gods of creation like Luli? Maybe. Empress Flame sighed and said, "No matter what is out there, I do not wish to go out. I doubt I will be able to. The world is at peace now, and you are standing guard over this world. In the future, even if a sovereign appears and wants to become the second Punisher, you will be able to suppress him. So, we won't have any more trouble in the future. I don't care about anything and just live a leisurely life. Luli, you handle the rest." The Flame Empress' voice was filled with exhaustion and relief. She had fought for so many years, suppressed for so many years, and feared for so many years. Now that the world was finally at peace, she no longer had to worry about anything. To the quiet and peaceful Flame Empress, this was the best ending. Ha ha! Whitey looked at the sky, his face filled with fighting spirit. He said with anticipation, "Boss, when your world evolves successfully, when your battle prowess increases by 100 times, when you can break through the barrier of this world, can you take me out for a walk? Let's go to the outside world and have a look. Let's meet the almighty immortals and the gods of creation. Maybe one day you can truly become the dominator of the world. We will see." Luli said with a bitter smile, "It will take at least 1,000,000 years for the world in my body to evolve completely. What if you are too old to walk after 1,000,000 years? What if you don't want to go out?" "Of course not." Little White shouted, "I am an almighty immortal. I can live forever and I will never grow old. I don't care. Boss, if you want to go out and explore, you must take me with you. I want the name Lu Xiaobai to be known to all the worlds. Billions of almighty immortals will tremble at the mention of this name." "Okay." Zishi put down the teacup, looked at Luli and said, "Brother Lu, I want to go as well. I will go wherever you go." 10 years later, at the Heaven Crossing universe, 2 people whooshed across the sky and dashed out of the Heaven Crossing universe. Soon, they arrived at a small universe. One of them was big, and the other was small. The big one was a young man in white. He was handsome, but he had a wretched look on his face. He kept looking around. Behind him stood a delicate-looking boy, only 7 or 8 years old. The boy grabbed the young man's clothes and asked curiously, "Uncle Little White, why are you running? Is Auntie Sure so scary? Are you not a match for her? Why don't you ask my dad for help? He is good. Not even the devil, Emperor of Punishment, can beat him. Bulsh *t. The young man opened his eyes wide and said, I am afraid of Qi Shirshir? I, Lu Xiaobai, am the second most powerful man in the world. Apart from your dad, no one is a match for me. Let me tell you, where is your uncle Little White? I want to find a beautiful human girl. Qi Shirshir is beautiful, but she is a beast, a fox. I will not marry a fox. It is not that I cannot beat her. I am just afraid that she will bother me. Lu Jia, listen to me. When you grow up, you cannot marry immortal beasts or beasts. Do you understand? Oh. The boy nodded, not fully understanding. Then, he rolled his eyes and said, Uncle Little White, now that we are out, let's go and play. My mom doesn't allow me to run around. The Heaven Crossing universe is not fun. I want to go to the Heaven Reverse universe. We will go to the northern desert of the Great Land, to the Delong tribe. I heard from my mom that she and my dad grew up there. That's where they picked you up. I want to play there. What do you mean picked you up? Little White rolled his eyes and said, I followed your dad on my own initiative. I was just born, but I could tell right away that you were extraordinary. Of course, your Uncle Little White is a heaven-swallowing beast. He is awesome. Your dad was weak as well. If it were not for me, your dad would have died over 800 times. Stop it, Uncle Little White. Lu Jia grabbed Little White's clothes and said, Take me to the Heaven Reverse universe. If you want to go, sure. Little White touched his chin and said, Go and talk to your sister Lure. Ask her to marry me. What do you think? Uncle Little White, don't you feel ashamed? Lu Jia said angrily, You are my uncle and she is my sister. How can Sister Lure marry you? Should I call her sister or auntie? What's more, Auntie Shirshir is so nice to you. If you marry Sister Lure, she will be sad. How about you marry both of them? But in that case, what should Sister Lure call Auntie Shirshir? You have a point. It is a bit messy. Little White scratched his head and waved his hand in annoyance. Never mind. Women are so troublesome. I don't want any of them. Let's go. I will take you to the Heaven Reverse universe. Whoosh! 2 silhouettes streaked across the sky, turning into 2 black dots that quickly disappeared into the distant sky. End of book. Chapter 3851. 5 o'clock in the morning. Even as he typed out the words, the book is finished, his heart was still very complicated. He had written books for 9 years and had written a total of 4 long books. Undyings was the longest, with 5 million words written in 3.5 years. This book was also the one with the largest structure. There were some flaws in this book. After all, it was too long and there were bound to be some mistakes. But overall, the old monster was still satisfied. Whether it was the book itself or the results, he was very satisfied. The speed at which the book was updated was not too fast, but it was not too slow either. Overall, he definitely owed everyone a few chapters. The old devil knew this in his heart. However, you can compare it to the other guru authors. There shouldn't be many who have been continuously updating for more than 3 years, with at least 3 chapters a day. The old demon did not expect everyone to be satisfied. He could only say that he had a clear conscience. Thank you, everyone, for accompanying me for more than 3 years. Many fans chased me from the first year of high school to the first year of high school, and from the first year of high school to the first year of university. It's my honor to be able to accompany you all. Many fans grew up reading my books, ha ha ha. Yao Yi thanked everyone for their continued support. He bowed and expressed his gratitude to everyone. Tell me about the new book. Old Monster knew planned to rest for half a year. Firstly, he was too tired and wanted to relax and recover his body. Also, he wanted to write a good book that would surpass the previous 4 books. To be honest, in the first 4 books, Old Monster felt that he did not give his all and did not display his highest standard. He did not go all out to write a true masterpiece. He already had the idea for the new book, and he had also written a part of the settings. Overall, he was very satisfied. Old Devil himself was also looking forward to it. He would only start writing after he had completed the general outline of the settings. I hope the new book is a good story, a very funny, very touching, very loving story. I also hope that everyone will continue to support me when the time comes. I hope that everyone will continue to chase after me. If not, you can just turn around and wave your hands. As expected, the new book would be uploaded on the 1st of next year. The specific content would be kept a secret for now. In any case, Old Demon himself was looking forward to it and wanted to write it. On the Weixin public account, there would be a completion event on the 1st of October. It was simple and straightforward. They would directly send out red packets to celebrate the completion of the dungeon and reward everyone for their support. Everyone could just search for Demon Knight and follow. In addition, the old monster will also write about the Flame Empress, Star Emperor, Jia Luo, Punisher Emperor, Unluer, and so on. They will all be posted on the official account. Everyone can pay attention to the official account. Finally, I wish everyone a happy National Day and have fun. We will meet again if fate wills it. Chapter 3852. It had been 300 years since the Third War of the Chief Gods. The Immortal Region had regained its stability and prosperity. There were 9 Realm Masters in the Immortal Region as well. But apart from the Battle Realm Master, the other Realm Masters had all been replaced. North Region, North King City. The North King City was rebuilt. It was more magnificent than before. It was Astro Emperor and his family that occupied the city and the vast North Region. Astro Emperor always had descendants. Their family resided in a land of the Flame Empress universe. That land was sealed by Astro Emperor. The family could not come out. Outsiders just didn't know. The War of the Chief Gods had been won. Empress Flame didn't care. Zishi and Little White were on Lu Li's side. Therefore, Lu Li had the final say in the world. Lu Li gave the management to Lu Ling. She didn't hesitate. Before the realms above the fourth heaven were restored, the Immortal Region must be occupied. Lu Li didn't do anything. Little White left and the old subordinates of Empress Flame came out from the Asmodean city as well. The Middle Region Master and the other Realm Masters were killed by Little White. Then, the families of the Realm Masters were hunted down as well. Because of Qi Shi and the fact that Lu Li had sent a message to Lu Ling, Lu Li had mentioned it. Naturally, Lu Ling had taken care of Lu Ling as well. The Astro Emperor family all moved out and became the upstart of the northern region. The Astro Emperor family had been in the Flame Empress universe for hundreds of thousands of years. Many of the older generation had passed away. The younger generation had never seen the outside world. As soon as they came out, they indulged in pleasure. Naturally, many playboys were born. Xing Rue was one of the best. Of course, he had the right to be a playboy. He was less than 1,000 years old, but he was very close to the complete realm. He was the first young master of the Xing family. Astro Emperor thought highly of him. The Astro Emperor believed that he had a 70% chance of reaching the complete realm. Next to the North King City was a defense city called the Big Dipper City. At this moment, in a luxurious manner, Xing Rue and a few young masters were drinking and chatting merrily. In the main hall, a group of exotic race women dressed in thin veils were dancing gracefully. Beside each young master were 2 extremely charming great beauties. The table was filled with top-level mystical fruits and liquids. This table could feed an average person for 1,000 years. Xiao! Suddenly, a figure flew in from the outside. As soon as he entered, he knelt down on one knee and wailed, "Young Master Rui, something has happened. Young Master Yu is dead." "What?" Xing Rue and the group of young masters were stunned. Young Master Yu was obviously not talking about Yu Yang, but Xing Rue's cousin, Xing Yu. Xing Rue was stunned for a moment. His body flashed and arrived in front of the man. He grabbed the man by the collar and shouted angrily, "What did you say?" The servant felt Xing Rui's murderous aura. His face turned pale and he stammered, "Master, he was killed. Someone just reported that he was killed in Bay Mountain." Bay Mountain? Xing Rui's eyes turned cold. He said in surprise, "That's a dangerous place. Why is seventh brother going there?" The servant looked at Xing Rui a few times, wanting to say something but hesitating. Xing Rui slapped him and shouted angrily, "What do you have to say? Stop hesitating and I will kill you." "It seems to be because of Ling Xianzi." The servant stammered, "Young master, you followed Ling Xianzi to Bay Mountain. A few of the soldiers who followed young master you came back and said that young master you was killed in Bay Mountain." Xing Rui shouted, "Ling Xianzi? The ice beauty who is very famous recently? Ling Xianzi killed seventh brother?" And the servant nodded. A young master stood up immediately and said, "Young master Rui, we have to report this to the clan immediately. Let the clan dispatch experts to cut this woman into pieces." "No need." Xing Rui waved his hand and said, "That woman is related to the Lu clan? She is friends with Lady Lu? Therefore, this matter cannot be reported to the clan. Otherwise, if the higher-ups suppress it, seventh brother will not be able to take revenge. Sixth brother, call Uncle Gun here. Uncle Gun will be enough to accompany me. This woman is said to be an ice beauty? She even dared to kill seventh brother. This time, I will turn her into an ice corpse." A young master quickly flew away and teleported to North King City. An hour later, he teleported back with an old man. This was an expert who was infinitely close to the Xing clan. He was very strong and had always been in charge of protecting the younger generation of the Xing clan. Uncle Gun hesitated after hearing Xing Rui's words, but Xing Rui brought the young masters to the teleportation altar. Uncle Gun followed helplessly. Offending the first young master of the Xing clan, he wouldn't have a good life in the Xing clan. 5 young masters and an elder infinitely close to the great perfection teleported to a small city in the north. They then flew out and took out their battleships to fly towards Bay Mountain. Bay Mountain wasn't very far from here. They arrived after flying for half a day. It was said that there was a chief god's ruin here. A chief god once stayed here for a period of time and left many powerful divine runes here. Ordinary saint emperors basically wouldn't be able to return. If they went deeper, even the great perfection wouldn't be able to withstand it. "Greetings, young Master Rui." There were 2 martial artists guarding outside. They were both saint emperors. They were Xing Yu's guards. Xing Ru looked around and asked, "Where is that bitch?" "Inside." One of the saint emperors said, "Young Master Yu's body is also inside. That woman set up very powerful divine runes. Young Master Rui, let's report this to the family." "Get out of here." Xing Rui charged into a cave in anger. A blue armor appeared around him. This was the supreme armor given to him by Star Sovereign. With this armor, he had nothing to fear. Since Xing Rui had charged in, Uncle Gun had no choice but to follow. The young masters behind him were all saint emperors, and they could only do the same. Entering the cave, they saw many divine runes outside, but they were all broken. There was only some poisonous miasma, which didn't affect them. They ran inside quickly. After walking for an hour, they arrived at a dark underground hall. "It's in front." The Saint Emperor guard pointed at a door and said, "Young Master Yu was killed in there." Buzz, Xing Rui took out his weapon. So did Uncle Gun and the other young masters. They entered the hall and immediately saw a beautiful figure standing under a stone pillar. Xing Rui had only heard of Fairy Ling's name. This was his first time seeing her in person. His eyes were attracted by the beautiful figure and the exquisite side profile. The other young masters were also dumbfounded. They had seen beauties before, but this was the first time they had seen one of this level. A beauty that could topple nations. Uncle Gun was the first to come back to his senses. He looked away and sighed at the corpse on the ground. Uncle Gun's sigh startled Xing Rui and the others out of their stupor. They glanced around and saw the mutilated corpse on the ground. When they saw a pair of eyes that were filled with grievances, the few young masters' eyes reddened. They came in, but the beautiful fairy didn't move. She continued to stare at the stone pillar in a daze. Xing Rui took a few deep breaths and suppressed his impulse. He said, "Fairy Ling? May I ask which family are you from? Why did you kill my seventh brother?" The beautiful lady still didn't move. She continued to stare at the stone pillar. The more she acted like this, the more uncertain Xing Rui was. It was said that Fairy Ling was related to Lu Li's family. Lu Li was the ruler of a great world. If she was Lu Li's woman and he dared to offend Fairy Ling, he would be in big trouble. Xing Rui was getting angry. He slowly raised his weapon and said, "Fairy Ling, if you don't give us an explanation today, don't blame us for being rude. We cannot let a Xing family member die in vain." Fairy Ling finally showed a trace of movement. She turned her head slightly, but her beautiful eyes made the hearts of the young masters palpitate. What kind of eyes were they? There was no human emotion in them. They were like the eyes of a beast, cold and emotionless. She didn't seem to be a human, but an ice sculpture. "Piss off," Fairy Ling said. Her voice was chilling. Pointing to the corpse on the ground, she said, "He offended me, so he died. If you offend me, you will die as well." How arrogant! Young Master Ray, take her and take her back. Kill her! Several young masters shouted. After a moment of hesitation, Xing Rui made up his mind and dashed forward. He knew all the immediate family members of Lu Li's family. He knew all of them except for this one. If she was Lu Li's woman, how could she be here alone? Was she and Luer's friend? If so, Xing Rui didn't care anymore. He had to take her down first. His cousin was killed. He wouldn't lose anything. Charge! Uncle Gun and the other young masters rushed over and began to attack from a distance. They had just flown for more than 100 feet when the ground glowed. Then, an invisible cage appeared in midair, trapping everyone inside. Their attacks were all destroyed when they made contact with the cage. There was a suffocating and horrifying qi and energy coming from the cage. Xing Rui and the others felt their souls were trembling. That is an ancient relic. Uncle Gun could be considered experienced and knowledgeable. He cried out in alarm, "Everyone, don't touch the line of fire outside. Otherwise, you'll die for sure." Boom, 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 boom. Xing Rui attacked several times with his relic weapon, trying to cut off the fire. However, the fire didn't even budge when he used his most powerful attack. Xing Rui was shocked. Could this beautiful lady be at the consummate level? As the most powerful young master of the Xing family, he had never heard of such a mysterious and powerful warrior at the consummate level. Bang! He crushed a jade talisman at once to ask for help. The relic here was too horrifying and the mysterious lady was too strange. He was afraid that not even his supreme armor could stand it. Lady Ling took a look and said indifferently, "The cage will shrink. In a month, you will all die. If you can solve the relic in a month, then you are capable. Those who are capable will live." After saying that, Miss Ling slowly walked forward and entered the main hall. Xing Rui and the others were scared out of their wits. They did see that the fire was shrinking. The young masters kept crushing jade talismans to ask for help. In just one day, soldiers and a few elders from the nearby cities came. There were more than 10,000 soldiers here. The patriarchs tried their best to solve the formation. After studying it for half a day, they couldn't understand it at all. Another 2.5 days later, dozens of Xing clan elders who were infinitely close to the consummate level came. They were all trying to solve the relic. 10 days later, the elders had no choice but to ask Astro Sovereign to come. Swish, 2 days later, the Star Emperor arrived. He entered the underground hall and looked around. A bitter smile appeared on his face. Then he glanced at Xing Rue and said, "You little bastard, who told you to provoke this great aunt? Lady?" Xing Rue's lips trembled a few times as he asked with a trembling voice, "Old ancestor, what exactly is her identity? My cousin, Xing Yu, was killed by her. I can't just sit back and do nothing, right? Who is she?" When the astral emperor saw the curious looks on the faces of the nearby elders, he sighed and said, "Let me put it this way. Back in the mortal world, this person followed the sovereign and helped the sovereign resolve countless calamities. In the end, the ruler went to the Shumi space and spent more than a decade to find her and help her rebuild her physical body. She is undoubtedly the best in the entire universe when it comes to sacred glyph. Even if I were trapped by her sacred glyphs, I would have to wait for death. In other words, she is invincible below the level of an over-god." "What?" Xing Rue and the others were scared out of their wits. They were going to kill someone invincible below the level of an over-god? She had been with Lu Li for so many years? Thinking of this, Xing Rue's heart suddenly skipped a beat. He remembered Lady Ling's emotionless eyes. He suddenly looked at Star King and said, "Is her name Blood Fairy?" "Yes." Astro Sovereign nodded. "She is charming, Ling. She will not cause trouble. She just likes to study sacred glyph. Xing Yu must have lusted after her. He deserved to die. I will not say anything even if she kills you, let alone him. Do you understand?" "Yes, forefather. I am sorry." Xing Rue bowed. He could not afford to offend this person, not even Astro Sovereign. "Looks like this Miss Ling is even scarier than that little demon king, Lu Jia. Offending a little demon king might not necessarily result in death, but if you offended this Miss Ling, you would die for nothing." Chapter 3853. I've been sharpening my sword for half a year, but I haven't tried it yet. Today is the release of a new book. Cheer 666. Hello, fellow readers. The new book has been released on Qidian. The reason for the delay was that Undying had been writing for more than 3 years and wanted to take a good rest. Another reason was that he wanted to make some breakthroughs in his new book. From Beast Destruction to Demon King, Burning the Heavens, and Undying. 10 years and 18 million words. All 4 books were Xuanhuan, and they were all about leveling up one's martial prowess. It was tiring and boring, so Yao Yi decided to make some changes and innovations for his new book. The new book was also Xuanhuan, but it wasn't just about leveling up one's martial prowess. It focused more on the main character's intelligence and the development of many supporting characters. There would be many interesting characters and interesting stories in this book. It was a new attempt at relaxing and entertaining. He hoped that the readers would like it. There was no point in selling melons. Whether a book was good or not depended on whether the readers liked it. All readers are welcome to try it. The new book will be released on Qidian. You can log on to the website or download the Qidian reading app. Search for Yao Yi or search for I'm Really Not the Demon King. I won't post the introduction and plot, so you can read it yourself. There will also be updates on QQ Reading and WeChat Reading. If you don't like the Qidian reading app, you can read it on other channels. Since it will be released on Qidian, he hoped that everyone would support it. Yao Yi wasn't a pretty face streamer, but a talent streamer. He hoped that his readers would support him, which was the motivation for him to continue writing. Dear readers, come and pay attention to the rocket sports car and yacht show. Dear readers, come and pay attention to the rocket sports car and yacht show. Dear readers, come and pay attention to the rocket sports car and yacht show. Then there was the word count. Half a year of sharpening my sword, but I haven't tried it yet. Today is the release of a new book. Cheer 666. Hello, fellow readers. The new book has been released on Qidian. There were 2 reasons for the delay. First, Undying had been writing for more than 3 years and wanted to rest. Second, he wanted to make some breakthroughs in his new book. From Beast Destruction to Demon King, Burning the Heavens, and Undying. 10 years and 18 million words. The 4 books were all fantasy novels, and they were all about leveling up one's combat power. Yao Yi was a little tired of writing them, so he decided to make some changes and innovations for his new book. The new book was also a fantasy novel, but it wasn't just about the leveling up of a person's martial prowess. It focused more on the main character's battle of wits, as well as the development of many supporting characters. This book will write about many interesting characters and interesting stories. It will be a new attempt to write about light entertainment. I hope the readers will like it. There was no point in Wang Pa selling melons. Whether a book was good or not depended on whether the readers liked it or not. All readers are welcome to taste the dishes. The new book will be released on Qidian. You can log in to Qidian's website or download the Qidian reading app. Search for Demon Knight, or search for the title of the book, I'm Really Not the Demon King. I won't post the introduction and plot, so you can read it yourself. In addition, QQ Reading, WeChat Reading, and other channels should be updated at the same time. If you really don't like Qidian Reading app, you can also read it through other channels. Since it's Qidian's first game, I hope that everyone will support it. Demon Knight wasn't a pretty face streamer, but a talent streamer. Therefore, he hoped that his readers would support him. This was also the motivation for him to continue writing. Dear readers, come and pay attention to the Rocket Sports Car and Yacht Show. Dear readers, come and pay attention to the Rocket Sports Car and Yacht Show. Dear readers, come and pay attention to the Rocket Sports Car and Yacht Show. Remember the mobile website. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.